it can't get any worse than it is. I mean, you got this head coach who thinks he's a combination of Bill Belichick, Bill Parcells, Tom Landry, Bill Walsh. He thinks he's all these guys. He hasn't won a game in the NFL as a head coach. His team is an absolute disgrace. They're a freaking laughingstock. And you do not name – it's Saturday, the day before the game. What is this BS that he is not named his starting quarterback yet? Are you kidding me? You got to be kidding me. This guy is lost. He's lost. And I'm telling you, man, I blame the owner. It all goes down to Woody Johnson. You know, we had Aaron Rodgers here wanting to be on our team. You know, this wasn't Brett Favre, you know, back in 2008, who couldn't wait to get the hell away from the Jets and go play for the Minnesota Vikings. No. This guy, Aaron Rodgers, future Hall of Fame quarterback, first ballot Hall of Famer, he wanted to be here. And they basically kicked his ass right out the door. I mean, really? And now we're stuck with this absolute crap that Woody Johnson, because he listened to Aaron Glenn, gave this guy who cannot play in the NFL, Justin Fields, $30 million guaranteed. Are you kidding me? The guy can't even complete a pass. He's terrible. And I mean, what else can you say? And you're not naming who the quarterback is tomorrow? You know the deal. Here's the deal. Look, you know that Glenn wants to play Fields because that's his guy, right? Let's be honest. That's his guy. He convinced Woody Johnson that this is my guy. I'm going to develop him. He never got coached right. So last year, he's playing for one of the future Hall of Fame head coach in Mike Tomlin. One of the top 5 coaches in the NFL, not even debatable. And Mike Tomlin had his team with Fields as the starter at 4-2, and he benched him for, you know, what used to be Russell Wilson. Really? What does that tell you? He had a winning record with Fields, and he still couldn't wait to get him the hell off the field. And Aaron Glenn, okay, who is not a pimple on Mike Tomlin's rear end as a head coach, certainly not to this point. He says, my guy, I'm going to turn Justin Fields into a star quarterback. That's basically what he, you know, without using those words, is what he was trying to do, what he thought he could do. And look at the mess they are now. What a disgrace. And I put it all on Woody Johnson. You know, yeah, sometimes you got to put your ego aside. For whatever the deal was with Rodgers, how do you let this guy walk? And look what he's doing in Pittsburgh. They're 4-2, and they lost last week to Cincinnati. He's thrown 14 touchdown passes in, 6 games so far. 14. His team is 4-2. You know they're making a playoff. You know, there's no doubt about it that the Steelers are probably going to win the division and are definitely making the playoffs. And tomorrow they play the Packers, and you know that Rodgers wants that game bad against Green Bay. You think he wanted the game against the Jets bad? Triple that against the Packers tomorrow. But this is why this franchise is the laughingstock of professional sports, and that's what they are. They're the worst-run franchise in North America right now. Not even debatable. And that this guy, who, like I said, he thinks he's some great freaking head coach, is not telling anybody the day before the game who his starting quarterback is a joke. And like I said, you know he wants to play Fields, but he knows if he wants to win, he really needs to play Tyrod Taylor. But he wants to play Fields because that's his guy. So I don't know what they're going to do. But does it really matter? Do you think they have a chance tomorrow against the Bengals? Joe Flacco is going to kill him. No Sauce Gardner, no Garrett Wilson, right? Really? T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, these guys are going to have a field day against that secondary tomorrow. Oh, my God. Oh, so bad. Again, I've been rooting for this team since 1965. This is the bottom of the barrel. And there's been a lot of, there's been a lot of times where we've been way down there. But now, I mean, we are in a place where and this is saying a lot, where this franchise has never been. I mean, that's how bad it is. What a joke. This coach is a joke. I mean, look, I know it's only 7 games, and I know, look, we know the deal. Jimmy Johnson went 1-15 his first year. Dan Campbell went 1-14-1, right? Parcells was 3-12-1. Belichick, we know what happened in Cleveland. His first year in New England, he was 5-11. We could go on and on, right? We know. But right now, Aaron Glenn is showing no signs that he has any chance to be this head coach 3 years from now. No chance. I just, oh, God. I don't even know if they're going to win a game. What game are they winning? Can they beat Miami at home? Maybe. Can they beat the Saints in New Orleans? The Giants couldn't beat them, and the Giants are a far better team than the Jets are. At least the Giants have I know the Giants blew that big lead to Dallas, to Denver last week. But at least they got a quarterback. At least you're a Giant fan. You're, well, you know what? I don't know if we have a head coach, but we got a quarterback. We got some young players here. We got a little juice. I think Philly's going to kill him tomorrow, but, I mean, so what? You look and it's all about, what is this quarterback going to be? And I'll tell you right now, Jackson Dart, 4 games into his NFL career, is way ahead of where Eli Manning was 4 years into his 4 games into his NFL career. But if you're a Jet fan right now, man, it just doesn't get any worse than it is right now. And for this head coach, who has done absolutely nothing as a head coach in the NFL, to be acting like I said, like he's Bill Parcells, and he's not telling the media or the fans who his quarterback is the day before the game? Competitive advantage? Come on. What a disgrace. What a freaking disgrace. And again, the person that gets the most blame is the owner, Woody Johnson. Woody, please, I'm begging you, sell the damn team. Do all our Jet fans a favor and sell the team. I talked to all my Jet fan buddies, a lot of guys who've had season tickets for a long time. They don't want to go. They're not going to renew anymore. Why would you want to? You can buy a ticket basically for any game you want to go to $20 or whatever. Certainly, way under whatever the normal price is. Why the hell would you want to waste money on season tickets for this garbage? Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. It really is. And we'll kick it off down in Tampa, which I wouldn't mind being there right now. Greg in Tampa starts us off. Hi, Greg. How are you? Hello, Greg.
How are you?
What's up?
The show's just not the same without hearing your wife laughing in the background, I got to say.
Well, when you put the headset on and she's up. I mean, she gets me up and going, so, what can I tell you?
I'm a big fan of the podcast, I got to say.
Thank you, Greg.
2 things. The Jets, are you not at the point where, don't you just want them to lose at this point? I mean, if they win, I'm going to be heartbroken. They got to get the first pick.
I don't really care, Greg. At this point, I am so numb. I don't expect them to win any games. Like I said, I gave you 2 games that they could maybe win. Does it really matter? You know what worries me? Okay? Because there's going to be a lot of quarterbacks coming out this year. They got to pick the right guy. But do we want
I know.
Do we want this regime picking this quarterback? Do we? I mean, think about that for a minute. Do we want these guys? Do I want Aaron Glenn, who sold Woody Johnson on giving $30 million guaranteed to Justin Fields? Do I want this guy picking my quarterback? Do I?
I think back in time, I almost rode off the road when they beat the Rams in 2020.
Oh, yeah.
Where they blew.
Trevor Lawrence.
But we would have ruined Trevor Lawrence if we would have taken Josh Allen instead of – Josh Allen would be out of the league right now if we drafted him instead of Darnold. I have no doubt.
Yeah, no, you
I have no
right.
doubt.
Well, look at Donald. How about that? Look at this. Look at Donald. Donald's lighting it up in Seattle. He went 14-3 last year in Minnesota, and they stupidly dumped him because the coach thinks he can make anybody a quarterback. But they looked good the other night with Carson Wentz, didn't they? But whatever, I don't want to get into that. But, I mean, Donald actually has turned out to be pretty good if we had an organization that knew what the hell they were doing, Greg, right?
Where do you think Patrick Mahomes would be if we took him instead of
right?
Who was the safety? Jamal Adams.
Oh, Jamal
instead of Mahomes. Okay. Yeah, I think Mahomes would be out of the league too.
Greg, you're making me want to cry, Greg. I'm telling you right now.
Well,
let me ask you a question.
I did watch this.
Let me ask you this before you say that. Let me ask you: do you think this? Let's say we go. All right. Let's say we win a game. All right. We still get that. If we go 1-16, we're still getting the number one pick. Let's say that happens. I think even 2-15 is going to get us the number one pick. But be that as it may, does this guy come back? Did they bring him back after this? Glenn,
I don't know. I feel like Woody's not going to do a one and done after that press conference. I really think he's in on Glenn for one more year. I don't know. I watched Dante Moore light up the Rutgers. That seemed interesting. But
Greg, can I? No offense to Dante Moore, who's a very good quarterback, but let's be honest. You could play quarterback against Rutgers, Greg, and light him up. I mean, come on.
You might be onto something there.
Yes.
But,
I like Dante Moore. I like Fernando Mendoza. I like even though he had a bad game against Louisville, I like Carson Beck. This guy's out there. The kid at Alabama, Simpson, is very good. Even though he's having a bad year, I like the kid from South Carolina, Sellers. There's a lot of guys out there.